The semifinals of the World Cup 2026 is finally done. And guys, it's not coming home. It's going further away from home. It's never been more not home. It's been unfortunate. But welcome to another episode of From VAR From Perfect podcast, where three guys from Toronto and one guy from Atlanta, Georgia at this moment talk about the game that they love the most, football. What a amazing couple of games that we've had. I'll just get right into it. We've got the usual squad today. Anurup, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up? I'm doing just as the Toronto weather. Orangey, hellish, and that's how I'm feeling right now. But no, I mean, I don't know whether I'm feeling worse than Sal, who's wearing an orange jersey right now. Just like,
The weather.
just like the weather.
Yes. It's if you guys don't know, it's Toronto has the worst air quality in the world right now, and I think that's exactly how Sal is feeling. Even though, if you guys don't know, he was at the game in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, a wonderful arena, to see England lose to Argentina 2-1 in the World Cup semifinals. Sal, I'm not even gonna ask how you're doing. Just tell us, man. Like, how was the experience? How was the game? I know you have a lot to get off your chest, and we're glad to see you doing well, man. I was worried for a bit.
We were. This was an emergency podcast.
Yeah, we're like, this is an emergency. We got to talk to our boy.
Mayday.
What's it been, man? I think we're barely about 6 hours removed from the full-time whistle. And you know what? It was a journey itself just to get in here. Our flight was delayed. It got in at like 3 o'clock in the morning. But that hope, the cope and the hope was keeping me going, man. It was honestly such a roller coaster of emotions. The excitement of being here. I had taken a gamble on these tickets and bought these before England or Argentina had qualified. So kind of that excitement to witness such a historic matchup, England, Argentina, the rivalry, between the countries, between the footballing nations, between the fans, between the players, the chance to witness my team that I support, and a chance to witness the greatest of all time. There it is. I'll say it. It was unbelievable, honestly. It lived up to the expectations. The stadium was fantastic. And if there's anything Americans know how to do, they know how to entertain. Everything was set up so well. But the game, man, what a roller coaster of emotions the game itself was. It started interesting before the game even started. I don't know, I wanted to ask you guys about this because we didn't talk much at all. But the lineups, couple of surprises in the lineups, not so much for Argentina. I think the big question was who's the striker? Alvarez. Was Alvarez going to start or was Martinez going to start? He stuck with the same lineup. Just one change on the right mid side. But I think England had a couple of interesting choices here because we weren't sure. Biggest of all was Morgan Rogers starting on that right side. Obviously, Reece James and Declan Rice back healthy in the lineup. But what did you guys think about the lineup? Would you have set up a little bit differently? Because I was hesitant throwing Morgan Rogers in such a big game at this time.
Yeah, I think it backfired, if you ask me. I would have just gone with the strong lineup, and I would have started Saka. I would have. That's what I thought Tuchel would do. But yeah, throwing in Rodgers was like throwing spanner into your works.
Was Saka even available? There's so many question marks around his health right now. I'm not even sure if he was available to start. Could it be that? I actually have no idea. I'm actually not sure.
But I have to say, I honestly thought, I guess we're going to get into the game right away. At first, I was a bit confused because I thought Morgan Rogers plays as an attacking midfielder or he plays on the left. So kind of chucking him on the right. I was like, what is Thomas Tuchel doing? But I'll be honest. As the game went on, I thought he was England's best attacking player. He actually held his own. He was carrying the ball. Obviously, he got the assist. So that wasn't the problem for me in terms of the lineup.
No, 100%.
Was I surprised? Yes. I was like, why is Morgan Rogers playing on the right? That's not even his position. But he did more than his job. He held up his end of the bargain. I thought he was great for England. but I guess that's where kind of the positives ends. I think if Reece James and Declan Rice are fit, they have to be in the lineup. So at first, yes, there was a bit of shock for me, but I thought Morgan Rogers did really well.
Yeah.
I mean, the only person that should start over him was Saka. Like that's the only thing. I'm not trying to. I think of all the people to point fingers at, Morgan Rogers is definitely not one of them. He had the
No.
work rate. He was chasing after it. I think there were a couple of times he looked a bit loose, tried to dribble a little bit too much. But again, of all the people, not going to point the finger at him. I just think we still missed Saka's creativity just a little bit. That threat who's going to cut inside. What do you guys think about Gordon? Because he had himself a bit of a game, right? Like, I was in the group chat just absolutely fuming at whatever the hell Gordon was doing out there for the majority of the first half and the early parts of the second half. And as I was typing this, he goes on and flicks honestly such a beautiful finish. That is an incredibly difficult finish,
That's
by the way.
poacher's instinct. I think so. That finish was impeccable.
And everything else he did was the furthest thing from impeccable. It was so peccable. I think that's like the most 7 out of 10 performance ever, because I think
Yeah.
he was average for the most part. Sorry, below average for the most part. But the goal kind of redeemed his performance a little bit. But I don't know. I think he could have been pulled a little bit earlier. I think you could try someone different there. I wasn't sure if Eze was the right man for today either. But I think this is where maybe Rashford, who came on, but I think could have come on a bit earlier. But I think they just needed to try something different, and it didn't happen soon enough for Tuchel. And I think as this episode goes along, we're probably going to be peeling off each layer of mistakes Tuchel made that kind of created this downfall at the end. But I think this was one of those mistakes. I think he needed to try something different with the wingers. But again, Gordon got the goal. Morgan Rogers got the assist. So of all the people to blame here, I think the wingers, we can lay off them a little bit.
But I want to just back up for a second, actually. Sorry. So I actually missed the first 15 minutes of the first half. But since you were in the stadium, what was it like? What did you guys feel? What was the feeling of the game? Because I came and saw it was 0-0. And I heard it was a scrappy game. Were you feeling that in the stadium? Did you think that it was swinging one way or the other? What was it like?
From the first 15 minutes, immediately we knew this is potentially going towards like a 0-0 extra time. Or even the person beside me was saying like a 2-1 max. You just knew it was going to be that dicey, cagey affair. Everyone was going a little bit harder on the challenges. You know what? For once, I think the referees was not one to blame here. For the most part, I'm not saying he had a perfect game, but I'm not going to do what I did in the last episodes with Argentina and the referee. None of that will come out this episode, and it doesn't deserve to. I think the referee was solid. He let them play, and it was super physical. A couple of elbows being thrown out, a little bit of flopping. Yeah, exactly. Just all that little bit of argy-bargy, but it tells you, it just kind of sets up what that game was going to be like. Who was going to grind out the other team. And England started off well. I think they were doing it effectively enough to hold down Argentina. Argentina wasn't getting too many chances, but neither was England. But I think England was okay with that, how that was going. And I think that game plan, for the most part, worked out. It was a great game plan. They stayed tight and they attacked hard, but they kept the wingers as an option to create opportunities. But the moment they scored that first goal, I don't understand. Like I was telling some of my friends, like I play in like a very low level recreational basketball league, and at our level, it's very common where when you get a bit of that 10-point lead, you very quickly change how you play. You become a bit safer. You're scared of making a mistake, so you hesitate. But we are amateurs of amateurs. You expect that from us. Even we know that we're doing it, and we just don't have the skill to recognize it. These are professional, the best footballers in the world, and I don't know how Tuchel's response is, yes, let's pull everyone back. Let's make Harry Kane into a 6, have 8 people in a box, and sit for 30-plus minutes of a game. I don't know if this was as obvious to you guys when you were watching it on TV, but
Oh yeah.
everyone
Oh
around
yeah.
me.
bro.
It
Okay,
was obvious,
okay.
bro.
It was
obvious.
clear as day.
In the,
Although you can't
okay,
see the
for
day here, but it was clear.
It's clear.
for you guys that don't know, I haven't checked social media, nothing. This is just honestly raw reactions from the stadium. I have no context of what's going on in the outside world, but from the stadium, the moment that shift happened after that first goal, the whole England fan section was just so deflated. Argentina fans actually started getting louder after that first goal happened. It's almost like everyone knew what was going to happen. And sure enough, the first goal happens. Enzo actually gets an opportunity to take a shot, and Pickford, I think, pushes it above. It was, I don't think it was on target, but I think it was PTSD from the Norway match, and he made sure to push the shot above this time around. The corner comes in. I think Messi is the one who gets it at the corner of the box, gives it to Enzo, who's at the same position. He hasn't moved since that last shot attempt, and for some reason, there's not a single England player in front of him.
Yeah.
And now he gets a second shot, a player of Enzo Fernandez's quality, future Real Madrid legend. You can't give him a second free opportunity that close outside of the box. And of course, from our angle, it looked like a good shot, but I heard nibbles and rumors that maybe Pickford should have done better. I just couldn't tell from our angle at the stadium.
Dude, it looked
Was that a
unsavable
savable
to me.
shot?
No,
Like,
I don't
for
think
me,
so.
No,
I don't
bro.
think so. The technique on that with the replay, I think Pickford did the best he could. Maybe he could have aligned his positioning a bit better initially, but you can't blame Pickford for that. I think Enzo Fernandez, that shot was a rocket.
Bro, the power
What a
was
finish, by
way
the way.
too much on the ball. Pickford, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, even if you have cat-like reflexes, you cannot save that. That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
So one cool thing about the Mercedes-Benz stadiums, they actually showed some like football related statistics that I've never seen in actual broadcast. So one of them was kind of 5 arrows going down a pitch and what percentage of the attack happened on which lane of the pitch. Kind of like in the middle, halfway through, or in the wide side. So it kind of shows you how teams, what sides they're. That's actually very cool. And another thing they showed was the shot power of Enzo Fernandez's shot. I think it was over 110 kilometers.
That is crazy.
And that's why us in the stadium, like, I don't think I heard anyone kind of even pick at Pickford. It was just a matter of how do you let that happen again? Someone had even kind of yelled it out in the crowd. Oh, you got to close him out there.
Yeah.
And sure enough, right after that play, he gets it and he scores again. It was almost like it was the most rudimentary, basic mistakes is what undid England
Yeah.
and Tuchel's game plan.
I agree. And guys, I don't know if you saw, like, Enzo took like 4 shots before that. At least 4
Yeah.
shots before
Yeah.
that. Right? And they were close shaves. Like, a couple of them were close shaves. So, you know, you don't learn from the warning signs. So,
I think-
and nobody was closing on him. And even when he scored, it was just Jude Bellingham who just charged. And he
Like
couldn't
last
do much.
minute. Like last
He
minute,
couldn't
he
do
was
much.
like, let me do what I can to stop this shot.
Yeah.
It was, but again, this all comes back to one man. The
Bro.
reason
Yep.
Enzo Fernandez was open was because Lionel fucking Messi shifted to that right wing, and then at that moment he kept trying to cut into his right, I think, no, to his left, and Jet Spence was trying to block it off, and so Messi knew that Jet Spence would try to block his lane off to cross it in. He knew it the second time that corner happened. As soon as he knew another person would come in, try to double him. He knew somebody would be open. That was all. It was such a simple play, but you can tell because time and time again, Jet Spence would try to block off the touchline where he could go and cross it in. So Messi was like, "Let me go this way, the other way, and I know someone's going to be open because they're going to double me."
Yeah.
And as soon as that happened, he just kicked it off to Enzo, and Enzo did what he had to do. That was all Lionel Messi. Like, to be honest, this game, up until the England goal, I thought England were doing great. I thought they were handling Argentina's physicality. I thought that Argentina were going to make it a physical game. That's what they're known for. Paredes was being Paredes, just knocking people over, getting into it with the England players. I think I was kind of worried at the start because the English players were getting into that physicality. They were kind of getting rattled in a way, and I was worried. I was like, oh my God, is this going to cost England getting a silly yellow card or a red card? But they handled it well. And then in the second half, Morgan Rogers with that beautiful ball, Gordon gets a goal. I was like, okay, this is where England are going to start taking off. And then the complete opposite happens. What? How do you explain that? I am actually baffled.
Yeah.
They get the lead. They were playing well. All of a sudden, they just decide to give up on the game. And I don't know
Right
if that
after the
comes
goal.
from right after the goal.
goal.
I don't know if that comes from the players' mentality or the coach telling them something. But we need to know what happened, which I still can't understand. That's what I'm trying to ask you in the stadium. If you sense something, if you sensed something, you saw something in the dugout, you saw some different body language from the players, because I don't know. I don't know what happened there, really.
I don't know what it was, but immediately we all knew this felt like not all the players should have reacted this way. This felt like a deliberate game plan. It was so instantaneous. It wasn't like the goal happened and there was this natural progression of Argentina gaining that momentum back. It was the goal happened, and from kickoff, the structure of the team had completely changed. And then the substitutions confirmed it. Because at one point, I think there were 6 defenders on the field. Nico O'Reilly was playing ahead of Jeff Spence as a left midfielder. While already operating in a 5-back with 5 defenders, you've now put in a 6 defender up in as part of your midfield 3. And this is all up 1 goal against the guy who scored the most goals in World Cup history. And sure enough, and again, peeling another layer off this, sure enough, they concede the goal. Okay, fine. Doesn't mean you're going to lose. You're still in it. But now you have 6 defenders on the field. How are you ever going to score? And at this point, you could tell they weren't going to try to win the game. They were going to just try to survive into extra time.
Yep.
And the moment +9 went up on the screen, that I could feel that moment. That is the moment that kind of like hits me in the chest right now. Is as soon as that +9 went up, the whole England section, like a bunch of us just immediately sat down. Because you knew England was not going to survive 9 minutes. I was hoping for a 3 and a 4. And this was just something that we weren't saying to each other. It was just a whole stadium just completely deflated when we saw the time. And it was almost like we predicted it. It didn't even take 3 or 4 minutes. It was literally 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
It falls into that man. But it wasn't his left foot this time. It was actually, he faked out the left,
Yeah.
went to the right, created the separation, dinked it in. You put on an extra defender in Dan Burn to prevent headers, which admittedly at the time didn't make sense because Argentina is not an aerial threat team unless it's fucking McAllister at the end of it usually. Now you have 3 center backs, including one of them who's 6'12" or whatever Dan Burn is. And somehow Lautaro Martinez is open. John Stones just starts walking forward into Pickford's zone and leaves Martinez behind completely open. For what? I have no idea because there's no person in front of him. It's Dan Burn in front of him. And I just, we saw it coming. I don't know, did you guys feel that on TV the way we felt it? Like you just knew that goal was going?
100%.
We just knew England wasn't going to win. Whether it was an extra time or penalties, that wasn't going to happen.
Bro, after England scored, right after Gordon scored, like, it was just Argentina all over England's defense. Like, they were attacking. They were... I don't understand why, first of all, you get 6 defenders. And on top of that, Harry Kane is playing deep. Like, he's playing as a 6. Sometimes he's just joining the defense as well. Like, he's operating from that, that space. But I strongly felt that Argentina were going to get the equalizer. And as you said, when we saw the 9 minutes, we knew that it was coming. But honestly, I thought that they would, fend off the Argentinians, but they were just too strong, man. You sensed it, right? I think we all sensed it.
I think this is kind of a good segue into talking about the man who made those decisions, Thomas Tuchel.
Bro,
what do you think? What do you think of the decisions he made in such a big game to be this defensive against Argentina? And where does this kind of leave him and this England squad?
That is cowardly, right? Like, how can you do this at a semi-final? Right?
You know what's
with a generational talent. Like, England has been the most talented I
Overall
think.
squad, you could
Overall
yeah.
squad. Yeah, one of
This is arguably the best 11 England has put together as a team. Not 11, 24, whatever it is, as a team in a long, long time, as far
Yeah.
as that I've been watching. Right? Because we had so many question marks about this lineup. If you guys go back and listen to our episode 1, very critical of the defense, slightly critical of the midfield. Like we felt like there were a lot of gaps. And Tuchel, every game to game to game, we talked about dealing with adversity, right? In that last episode, he proved to the fans that he made the right decisions with who he picked and stuff.
Right.
And I think he did so much work to build that trust. Had he lost 4-0 today and we just got completely outclassed with Argentina, I think the fans would have stood there and
Yep.
left with their heads held high and know that this team is going in the right direction. But the way it happened today just hurt so much,
Yeah.
right? It was just so confusing. It's just like it it I'm not gonna say it's completely thrown my favor of Tuchel. I think he's done enough to get another try. I don't think he should be sacked. I think that's far too reactionary. We have to look at the total sample size, and there's more than enough good that he's shown that he deserves to at least work his way into the Euros. Give him that European qualification route. If he still continues to perform well, he deserves that chance. Southgate got that chance. And I think he should too, at least for the next 18 months. That's kind of where I feel. But he made all the right decisions throughout, and it just felt like today it was the basics that let him down.
Yeah.
Things that we're talking about it, like we felt it, we saw it, it was so obvious. Why did he do the things he do, and why did he not adjust quicker? And that puts a lot of doubt, I think, in a lot of England fans on what this means for the future.
Honestly, I don't know if you watch his interview after the game, and
No.
the interviewer asked him, "Why did you put an extra defender on?" He said, "Argentina were crossing a lot and were conceding a lot of chances, and there were a lot of gaps, so you put an extra defender on to close all of them." But my question is then, don't you want someone in attack who's an outlet that if you're absorbing all this pressure, you can ping the ball out to them and potentially score?
Oh,
I feel like that didn't even cross his mind. And I'll say
Okay.
this. I think, to be honest, according to me, I think you're being a bit too kind to Thomas Tuchel. Because if this was Gareth Southgate,
Yep.
what has Tuchel done that Gareth Southgate hasn't?
semifinals. Actually, if anything, Southgate still accomplished more with the Euros.
Southgate went
final.
To the finals,
He went to the US. He went to the finals of the Euros.
Yeah.
And the biggest gripe that England fans had with Thomas Southgate, with Gareth Southgate, was that he played too defensive. They never showed personality. And in the biggest game that Thomas Tuchel managed for England, he did the same, if not worse. To me, it was a capitulation, bro.
Yeah.
It was a complete lack of trust in all your attacking play. It's a complete lack of trust in in the technical level of the team that you have. It was a complete lack of trust in the mentality that he talked about with other results that England had. Why are you choosing to just abandon all of that and just play fearful against Argentina? I am completely baffled. I think this is the end of Thomas Tuchel's chances of going back to a top European club. I think it's done now. Because he's done this a lot. He won a Champions League with Chelsea, but with other clubs, he's made these massive mistakes in big games, and this is another one of them. I think he's gonna bounce around as a national team manager, maybe a bit more with England. And even I sat here and praised him, but what I saw today, I'm still baffled. And now people, like when people talk about Gareth Southgate, this is what they said about him. And the reason Thomas Tuchel was bought in was to ensure this doesn't happen. But now the same thing has happened with arguably a better squad.
Yeah.
So I don't know where they go from here. I'm sure, like you said, they're gonna give him some more time. But it's disappointing. Saying it's disappointing is an understatement.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets sacked. I really wouldn't. With the
I wouldn't.
with this-
Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't be surprised.
With this
I think my just personal opinion is like, let him cook kind of thing. And I know Arvin's probably gonna be right about this. I think this is that hopeful England fan in me that's just like, maybe, right? Like we've been saying this for decades now. So why would it change this time around? I don't know. But I actually hate that response he had to that reporter. Because it wasn't about the personnel. He's still making it about the team. It was what they were doing with. Just because you play with as a five back doesn't mean you can't try to score a goal. That's not what a five back is. Teams have won Champions Leagues playing five defenders at the back, right? Like he's won a Champions League playing five defenders at the back. That doesn't mean you need eight players in the box and offer no threat moving up, and all you're doing is punting the ball into their half, letting them reset and cross the ball again without offering any threat. So now Romero is roaming around in the box. That is just a strategic error with how Tuchel assigned his players and told them what to do. That is not, oh, we just needed another man for a header. That is a basic misunderstanding of how to react to a situation like that. And that's what I meant by it makes us so nervous, because it feels like he doesn't know how to respond to these moments.
Right.
Maybe he knows how to respond to a Norway because there's one threat or two threats. But against Argentina, and as great as Messi is, Messi also works because of how well his teammates work around him.
True.
Can Tuchel process these type of teams where it's not just like a level 1 problem, it's like a level 2, level 3 problem? Difficulties going up. Can he handle that? That's, I think, where the doubt comes in. I think that's where Arvin's like so valid in what he's saying, because it's fair to believe, based on his track record, he didn't figure it out last time. He probably won't figure it out this time.
Yeah. And what's with the subs in the 96th minute? He got in Tony.
Then he
and
puts in Rashford.
He should have gotten.
Yeah, he puts in Rashford in the 90s. What's the point?
96th minute.
That should have happened as soon as that first goal was conceded. He
Right?
should have responded and said, oh, you guys scored. I'm putting on a striker and a winger. We're going to get this game back. The moment there was another defender in,
Yeah.
it was
What
done.
does that
He
show?
showed
He
he
does
was
not have
scared.
confidence, right? He does not have confidence in his attackers.
Apparently, I heard someone say that Scaloni in a post-game interview said that he felt fear in the England team. And he says apparently when the Argentina team feels fear, that's when they play at their best. Right? And it's like a rough translation to what he was saying.
Right.
And fucking hell, man, they've proved it, right? Egypt, Cape Verde, now this. But I think he was kind of indirectly talking about Tuchel. I think he was saying, bro, I got this, man. Like, I think he had him completely figured out after that first goal. And I think that was his statement to just say, like, there's nothing you can do to beat us now. And he proved it.
And, like, for you guys, were there any standout players from the England side? Like, for me, I thought Harry Kane, even though he didn't get chances, the first goal comes from his ball to Morgan Rogers. Unreal ball.
Yep. From
Like,
deep.
Morgan
Yep.
Ro- From deep. What a ball. Jet Spence with that tackle.
Bro, that
oh
was
my
the
God.
best moment. One of the best defensive
For
moments
us, I think,
of this tournament.
yeah, what is that?
No, go for it. I was just saying that tackle, if he mistimes that 1 second, that's a red card and a penalty.
Easy.
And he got it spot on.
Yeah.
For us in the crowd, it was one person easily. It was Jet Spence. It was not even close. It felt like he was the one. You know, one of those like 2002 Beckham against Greece performances? I swear that's how I was looking at Jet Spence. This man was doing everything, bro. He was making good runs into the box. I mean, sure, he didn't create like the best opportunity out of it, but he was taking players on. He was dribbling past them, making runs to the byline, trying to get the ball in. So when the cross isn't perfect, I can't even blame him, because Gordon's doing fuck all on the other end, right? And he did a great job on Messi, I thought. And this is something I want to kind of dial back to. We're talking about Tuchel again, and again another mistake with Tuchel. I thought Messi was somewhat well contained in that first half. Would you guys agree? Like, it felt like he didn't get too many chances. You know, one thing in the stadium is the moment Messi touched the ball, everyone gets quiet. Because you just know, no matter where he is, if he has the balls, something could happen, man. You just gotta hold your bet. Squeaky bum time. But it didn't feel like it happened all that often. And I think the big reason is because England played higher up the pitch, they were putting pressure on Messi as soon as he got the ball with his back to the net. and that forced him to pass the ball and reposition. But when you sit so deep back and Messi's able to face the net, that was one thing that we noticed was Messi was able to now face the net for the first time and attack a player head on. And that's when he was able to create space and get passes through. And again, had he never got into that low block, I don't think Messi gets the space to get those assists. It literally could have been that simple. But Jet Spence, I think, was fantastic. He was standout. Um, I felt like Declan Rice was good. Considering I know he's also hurt,
Yeah.
he was putting in some great tackles. Just you talk about covering every blade of grass. I think he was solid. I think us in the crowd were a little bit disappointed with Harry Kane. It felt like we didn't see him much. I think it was because he was dropping back on midfield and just kind of
Absolutely.
helping play move forward. But I don't know if I even almost like blended him in with like Elliot Anderson or something. I'm not sure, just because I wasn't used to him being it, and that added to the fact that he kept feeling invisible. There were a couple of times crosses were coming in from the wing from Morgan Rogers, and I feel like no one was making that front post run. You see Harry Kane and Jude both in the back post.
Yeah.
You know, it's again these
Yeah.
basic things. So Harry Kane felt a bit invisible for us, but I now that you guys mention it, I kind of put it together. He was helping with the link up play.
Yep.
We were disappointed with Jude, man.
Yeah. He
Jude-
didn't do
yeah.
There
much.
was not a lot of Hey Jude singing during the thing. I can't remember much of him at all, if anything. No driving runs into the box. I don't think he had any shots on target.
He only had a tussle with Messi. You know.
Yeah.
He had how was the
What
atmosphere
happened there?
I'm
Because
asking you,
because
like,
was
honestly,
because he fouled him and then he like walked towards him. Was he trying to help him back up or was he trying to say something? Like did they
He
show
was
what
saying
happened?
I thought he was talking
spoke
to him in
smack.
Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Something like that. They were like chirping
Oh.
each other or something. Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm
We
not
didn't
entirely
see
sure.
that because my back, like his back was facing me. So from our angle, it looked like he was leaning down to help him back up. And then all the Argentinian fans came and players came and started pushing him. So England fans got mad. We were like, yo, he's trying to help him up. Why are you guys pushing him? So we had no idea what was going on there. It was kind of funny though. Someone got elbowed in the head. I think it was Elliot Anderson. I don't know if it was actually an elbow. This was like, again, 5 or 10 minutes into the game. They had to kind of like pause play to
Yeah.
double check on that. We didn't get replays. I don't know if it was a flop. I can almost imagine it might have been. I don't know if you guys even remember that one.
Yeah,
first
that's
5
a part of
minutes,
the game that I missed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think even I don't remember this part. I think that's
Again,
when
it
everyone
was-
started
it was-
having a brawl, right? They
Yeah,
were-
yeah. Right at the beginning. Right at the beginning. Yeah.
The first 5 minutes, I remember that. It wasn't anything
That-
nefarious.
That part was fun though. It kind of got the
Yeah.
fans into it too. It shows that it's kind of like a feisty game. It spits in your face like the stakes of what is going on right now.
Yeah, and that's when I thought it's going to be a physical game through and through. But to my disappointment, the first half was just a bummer, to be very honest.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that was the only moment which was feisty.
Pickford was
Yeah, I
good.
gotta.
Pickford was
Pickford was unreal.
great.
He was
fantastic.
Pickford was
unreal. He was
fantastic.
unreal.
I had some great angles for his saves. It was, yeah, man. He kept us in the game. He was so vocal, like I could literally hear him. It was actually insane. He's just constantly yelling. I was all the way up, and there were points where he's like constantly just yelling at his defense, talking to them.
That's actually sick.
I think
That's leadership.
he's gonna be someone that they're really gonna struggle to replace in the next World Cup. Because someone like a Trafford doesn't seem like the personality
Yeah.
that Pickford is. They're going to struggle to replace him. I mean, who knows? He might play at 36, but hopefully you find a better replacement. But anyways.
I gotta. So obviously we're talking about this game. There was another team that was playing Argentina. From your viewpoint, what was it like seeing Messi in Argentina and that performance by the GOAT? Honestly, at this point, not even at this point. It's just
He is
I can just go on what I saw about Messi this game. It's unbelievable. But from your end, what was it like?
You know what? If you guys have watched my last episodes, you know I talk a lot of shit, right? I do. And you know what? I do hate Argentina. Fuck Argentina. Fuck that team. I don't like them. I don't like their fans. I had bad experiences with their fans here. I don't even want to get into it. But England and Argentina have a rivalry, and I think we should dislike each other, and that's okay. but that's what made the game a lot more fun. I think you might have guys seen a lot of pictures of like other World Cup games where all the fans are like getting along together, taking pictures together. Wasn't happening here. It was a very clear divide. England fans were getting beer from one cart, and then the Argentinian fans were getting hot dogs from their carts.
Oh.
Where they were meeting up for the matches, on one side of the stadium is where the Argentinian fans were. On the other side of the stadiums is where the England fans were. There was a very people stayed separate. And I think that added to the atmosphere. It was so, and I think the players felt it, the fans felt it. But Argentina, man, the fans and the players, they just play at an intensity that's next level. And for me, it's one of my first times watching football at this level, right? Like these are some of the best players in the world. I don't know if I'll ever see a game with more talent than this had. The pace at which those guys play is just next level. It felt like they just, I don't know what the stats would be. I just assumed that they have covered more grass in that game than England did. And it was so obvious. The effort, the work rate, to do that dirty work around Messi, to make all of that happen. Like, I think that was my biggest realization. We know the magic that Messi does. It's very clear on the highlights, but when you watch them in person and see how fluid they are and how everyone knows their role and how to make Messi do his thing, it's unbelievable. The chemistry that you see, it's like the closest thing I could tell you is like prime Greg Popovich San Antonio Spurs. They didn't have Kobe, they didn't have LeBron, they didn't have Shaq. They had guys that were kind of short, unathletic, not the strongest, not the fastest, but they were so well run, such a well oiled machine that their star boy and a couple of very good, usable role players and kind of solid pieces are enough to compete with the Frances, the Englands of the world. That is what stood out to me more than anything is actually it's not as great as Messi is. This Argentina team, the chemistry that they have, this must be one of the greatest international teams that ever is, and they have a chance to prove it if they win their second World Cup in a row. But now talking about Messi, it that was one of the big reasons I want to go. I won't even admit it. I didn't want to admit it. I obviously wanted to go to see England, but the opportunity to see Messi live in person, and I know we can see that in Inter Miami.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Which I saw.
This is.
But Argentina,
this,
it's a different level. It's he operates at a different level, right?
I talked about this might be the highest level of play I'll ever see. That is the highest level of play I will ever see. I think I can almost say as a fact, I will go to my deathbed and I will never witness an athlete better in person than he was. And he is old as shit right now.
Yeah.
It's the way he moves. I'm telling you, every time he touched the ball, he struck fear into everyone in the stadium. Argentina fans would start making noise and he wouldn't even get anything out of it. Just every time he touched the ball, I have never felt that way. He is the best, man. He just is. I hate to admit it. He will never be my favorite player, and I think that's okay. But I think I'm man enough to admit he just is unbelievable. And to see that in person, it made every dollar worth it. If England lost to like Switzerland, for example, I don't know what I would do. But the fact that I got to see Messi potentially go on to complete one of the greatest legacies ever, it made the whole experience just so much better, so much more worth it.
Even like the fact that you say that you felt that in the stadium, even watching the game, even in the first half and before Messi kind of got going, every time he touched the ball, you couldn't get the ball off him. Anderson, Rice,
Right?
these guys are all trying to body him, and his
they
low
scissored
center
him.
of gravity, he can withstand that contact and just keep the ball the whole time. And then again, this happened against Egypt as well. He slides onto that right wing,
Right
and
side.
something happens, bro. Something happens to him. I don't know what it is. It's like he conserves his energy for the last 15 to 20 minutes, and that's all he needs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even the header that hit the post from McAllister, I think that was Messi's cross. The one that Pickford saved, I'm pretty sure that was Messi's cross.
as well, by the
Yep.
way. Yeah.
The assist to Enzo that happened, he kept reading what Jet Spence was doing. Later, he switched up on him, passed it to Enzo, great finish. But that space, he knew Enzo would be in that space. Again, it was Messi. And then the last assist, you said Dan Burn was right there. That was all Messi's. You watch that replay again,
Bro.
it was pinpoint, bro. Literally,
Accurate.
Lautaro just had the
Absolutely
head.
perfect.
Dude, it was absolutely perfect. Not an inch up, not
To
an
his
inch
head,
down.
you know?
To his forehead. All he had to
yeah.
do was just tap it
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Bro, okay, I'll say this, right? In a lot of sports, when you have these GOAT debates, you're most likely arguing about their peak and their longevity, right? Those are two of the arguments, especially in like basketball. When you talk about LeBron, you're talking about how long they've been good for. But then you could argue Jordan. At his peak, he was the best. Even when you talk about like even hockey, I'd say, even golf, like they've all had these dips when they get older, but at the peak they were the best, right? Messi is both. Messi at his peak, 92 goals in a calendar year, back with Barcelona, all the club accolades, and somehow at age 39, he's gotten better with the national team. How do you explain this to people? I cannot put this into words. This version of Messi, in some ways, is better than prime Messi because he's that much more efficient. His quality
At this
of
age.
passes, of how to read the game has never been better. And we're not just talking about this guy might be the GOAT of football. He could be arguably the greatest athlete of all time across sports for what he's doing.
I will say that was one thing, though. I think the team also allows it to happen. It's not his pure raw skill that makes the team good. I think it's almost 50-50. The team needs to work perfectly around him for him to also operate at this peak level. And I think that's why you go to when he was 34 at PSG, he almost struggled even with more talent on that team.
Yeah.
Right? Struggling to even break 10 goals in a season, he has more in this World Cup than he did in a whole league on a season. It actually doesn't even make sense, right? So I think he also needs that system. But I think we've known that about Messi, and the greatness of Messi is that he deserves that system. And he's showing you that his greatness is when you make a system around him, you become the best in the world. And I think that highlights a player's greatness.
They
So
know,
for me,
they know
it's-
that. Yeah.
I always refuse to admit that he is the best player in the world because he couldn't do X, Y, and Z at certain situations. But at the same time, if you put that person in his best scenario, I think he's number one in that particular situation. I think there's no one on this planet who's walked better at that peak level than he has.
But even now, right? If you look at all the best players in the world, they were performing in this World Cup. Mbappe, Haaland, Yamal. Who has the most goals and the most assists, bro? It's Messi.
It is. It's
right?
Messi.
Okay, he doesn't have the most assists in this World Cup, but the most goals, like you could still make the argument that he's a top 3 player in the world at 39, bro.
That's insane.
It's this guy he's a footballing savant. Like that's the word for it. And like, to the point where I'm trying to think of other players of Argentina who really impressed me, and this might be completely biased because I wasn't watching them properly, but to me it was just Messi stood out every single time, even before the assist. Because when he got the ball, he was bouncing off players. He was trying to find the pass. I'd say maybe McAllister had a good game. Paredes is doing what he's doing. Yeah. Romero was good. Romero was great, by the way. I have to say Romero was really good.
I was gonna say, I thought for me, I thought McAllister was fantastic. I thought Fernandez was fantastic. I thought Romero was fantastic. I thought when Simeone was on, he was dangerous on the right side. DePaul, when he came on, he was again fresh legs. He was pressuring. I think Tagliafico was the only one who didn't have the best game. Actually, that also makes sense because that's where Morgan Rogers had a bit of success against him. Besides that, I think I was actually impressed by all of them because I think that's what I realized. When I was watching on TV, I was always focused on opposition and Messi. But this was a time where I actually got to absorb the match as a whole. Like I was watching 11 on 11 properly, right? Not how a TV screen was showing me, but where I was kind of choosing to put my eyeball. And that's what stuck out to me actually. It's how clean all of the Argentina players play, and no one's asked to do too much. The way Declan Rice is asked to do a lot, or Saka is asked to do a lot, or Harry Kane is asked to do a lot. It seems like everyone knows what they need to do, and they just execute that part perfectly. That's the part that like super impressed me. They might not be the best players in the world, but it is the best system in the world.
Right. They are a well-oiled machine, right? And as you mentioned, they just function really well with Messi around, and that's the perfect system that they have curated for him. Him
Yeah.
being the center, taking the center stage, if you will. And he carries the team to an extent.
He really does.
But as you mentioned, the team has to play around, and they play. The synergy is inch perfect.
It's unreal. So it'll be interesting to see. You know what? I wanted to talk about a little bit about the World Cup experience for those people that didn't get a chance to go. I thought it was outside of the game. Everyone always asks me, it's like, what did the tickets cost? Isn't it so expensive? And of course, it cost a pretty penny. But what made it worth it, and I was telling Arvin this a little bit earlier too, was not the game itself. And I think that's what I kind of forgot to realize. It's the experience around it. Nothing went to plan. My flight got delayed. I got stuck in New York for a while, landed super late, couldn't find the England section. What happened with England happened. Like almost nothing went to plan, but everything around the World Cup and how it's hosted was fantastic. The fan festivals, the meetups with the local kind of supporters and the traveling fans, the entertainment that they have around. It's just done so well organized. The experience around it was just honestly 10 out of 10. It is absolutely worth it. And I know, guys, we got to make a plan. VAR from Perfect in Portugal, in Spain, in Morocco, in the next World Cup in 2030, man. We got to make it happen. And you know what?
Yep.
Saudi in 2034. We'll be there.
That's where. Believe me, more than you believe. More than you believe. I will be there. More than you believe.
All right, so we talked a lot about England. I think I still need to like sleep on this and like give you guys
Yeah,
my
you
like
good,
fresh
bro? I
takes
just want to
again
make
tomorrow.
sure we talk for like 45 minutes, dude. Are you good?
No.
He looks.
Give me tomorrow.
He looks good.
And I'm gonna be like, yo, fuck Messi, all about Ronaldo. Don't worry, guys, I'll be back. Okay, don't worry. I'm a bit in my feels right now, bro. I'm gonna go listen to freaking
Riding the
Drake
wave.
after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send you a whole playlist, bro. I'll send you my nighttime
Yeah.
Drake playlist.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's.
Cups of the rose. No, I'm joking.
I'm gonna tissues close by. But hey, we could be third place. But France and England will be playing third place on Saturday. Honestly, I don't know if you guys care. We don't really care. I don't think the players even care that much. So, bun the third place game. Who cares? And let's talk about the other semifinal. How France got there in the first place. I think this was a completely shock matchup, so full transparency. I was traveling at this point, so I missed a vast majority of this game. I was basically following it through the reactions in the group chat, and I almost couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was almost perplexed at the sentences that were being said. Things about France's offense being stifled, Spain looking so solid, looking comfortable the whole game. It was just not what I envisioned, not what we talked about in our predictions. But I'm going to need you guys to kind of brief me a little bit on this. I haven't even watched highlights yet because I wanted to hear from you guys. What the hell happened? What happened to France?
Arvin, do you want to go ahead? Because I watched in bits and pieces. I was traveling, I watched it on Go Train. But from what I watched, I saw it was a masterclass by Luis de la Font, right? And you were right. The attack was completely stifled. Like Dembele, we're not talking about any, like above average attackers. You're talking about Dembele, the Ballon d'Or winner.
The best. Literally the best.
Literally the best, right? Mbappe, the Ninja Turtle, was in his shell. So, and Olise had like, for me, like for his standards, he had a stinker, you can say.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Like he made some rash challenges. He was not he was not great in my opinion. But Arvind, do you have to say anything about it at length? You can go ahead.
For me, I thought the first 20 minutes or so, it was kind of even in the sense that you can see the quality France had. You can see some of the passes Dembele was playing. Barcola, I think, was having a good game initially. He was kind of beating his man. He was doing all the things. They were doing the things that we expect a French attack to do. Yeah. But then what happened was Luca Digne with a stupid mistake. So basically the ball was up in the air in their own penalty box, right? He turned around without even knowing that Lamine Yamal was running in. He sticks his foot out, and Yamal was really smart in this play because he knew Digne had his back turned, and he knew that he wouldn't see him coming in, running in. So Yamal runs into the penalty box. Luca Digne just had it's amateur defending. You just turn around without being aware of your surroundings. He sticks his leg out. Yamal hits it. Penalty. There's obviously some debate around did it touch Yamal's arm, and I kind of get that.
He
but
milked it. Let's
he
get
milked
it straight.
He 100% milked it. But to me, that's intelligent play from Yamal.
Exactly.
He knew that Luca Digne had his back turned, so let me go try and get the ball because if he kicks me, it's going to be a penalty. And Luca Digne felt right into that 100%, and then Oyarzabal with a very assured penalty, he just put that in.
No stutter steps. No stutter steps.
Just bang that in.
Okay, good.
Right?
Yeah.
Just bang that in, done. So Spain were up 1-0.
Respect.
And then I think a big incident was Saliba going down. So I thought Spain were. I'm not putting this whole thing on Saliba going off, but Saliba, bro, why would you play through a back injury, bro? We need you, man. 4 months out apparently. Fuck.
No
Anyways,
way.
let me just calm down. So Saliba, literally what happened was he gets the ball. It's a non-contact injury. He just sits down.
Yeah.
And he you can hear him tell, I think Oyarzabal came to talk to him and he's like, my back is gone. My back is gone. He was telling him his back is just done, so they had to walk him off. And then Lacroix came in, right? So after that moment, I thought Spain just completely took over the game.
Dominant.
And I was saying in the last episode that Spanish midfield have to not just win, but dominate that midfield matchup. They didn't just dominate. It was an absolute masterclass on how to play in midfield.
Yeah.
Rodri...
he's the goat of midfield. Let's say.
I'm not gonna lie. When, for example, when people do drafts of all-time midfielders and stuff in that position, if we start seeing him going up there, don't be surprised. Don't say it's recency bias. He is that good. He's so complete of a midfielder. He can pass. He's smart. He can break defensive lines. He can win the ball back. He's so disciplined. He has a right amount of aggression. I was in complete awe of his performance. But again, obviously Rodri had an unreal game. But his combination with Fabian Ruiz, there was a moment in the second half where Rodri gave the ball away. And that was one of the few times he did that. And it was going to be a transition for France. And I was like, oh no, what's going to happen here? Right then, it's like Fabian Ruiz almost knew this was going to happen. So he was already covering that position, won the ball back. I was like, dude, these guys are reading each other's minds, bro. That midfield performance was absolutely unbelievable. And I have to say, Kubarsi, again, had an unreal game.
Yeah.
Cucurella was amazing as well. I think they were just passing the ball around. But the guy who really stood out for me, I think Pedro Porro, this might have been the best game I've ever seen him play.
Yep, absolutely.
Pedro Porro was...
What?
Yes, Sal. Pedro Porro.
Yes.
And I
Pedro
saw that
Porro,
part.
Bro, Pedro
Of all
Porro...
the names you were gonna say, that just caught me so off guard.
I was
Just wait until we speak about the goal that he scored.
Oh my god, the movement with Danny Olmo, it was
Bro,
like
Olmo was great too. You have give a shout out to Danny Olmo. The midfield.
The midfield was just
perfect
unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
Like if they were passing the balls through, they were just getting the balls back and things like that. And that I don't know if you remember, Anup. Not even the goal. There was a moment before the goal which was a miss. It was a miss. So basically, the ball went to Olmo. They were playing one-touch football. Yamal got the ball and he crosses it in, and then I think it was Fabian Ruiz. He just misses the post. Spain were playing tiki-taka, like just beautiful football.
They were playing like prime Barcelona, by the way.
Prime Barcelona. Yeah. It was unbelievable.
Honestly, it sounds like they were playing like prime Spain.
Yeah.
This reminds me of 2010 Spain, where there was just a bunch of midfielders in the whole team, and they're just cooking.
No, because I think that's the thing. It's like because they haven't scored the goals they have against Saudi Arabia and not Saudi Arabia. Sorry, Capo Verde and things like that. And even throughout the knockout stages, they didn't score as many goals. We doubted their quality in midfield, but the cohesion that they have, they're easily the best midfield. On paper, you could say Portugal had the best midfield. You could say even England had a great midfield. But when you watch them play, it's no question it's Spain. The way they just
what's funny?
Yeah.
I just wrote something down because I wanted to make sure I asked you this. Because I was going to say there was all this talk about Portugal being by far, everyone was convinced the best midfield. And that's the question I was going to pose. Like, is this the best midfield? But you already kind of answered the question. I think it has to be them now, right? Based on how consistent these guys have been. I think what I realized about Spain, if you go back to some of our podcasts, we have slightly always underestimated them a little bit. Yeah. And I think it's because, you know how I described that England and Argentina game in the beginning? It was that cagey, dicey, grind out type of game. I think Spain is so good at that. And I think that's what I'm realizing. They're somewhat boring in the way they go about things, but they're just so disciplined, so clean. They don't make a lot of mistakes, and they just don't give up opportunities for other teams to score. That makes them be a little bit rash, react differently. And I think that's what got France a little bit frustrated. And I think sounds like what's giving them opportunities. And this is how they've kind of operated, at least in their last few games. I almost wonder it should be an interesting way to kind of combat Argentina, but we'll save that talk for another day. But I think that's the big thing with Spain. It's kind of like that 2010 team where no one really liked them because they were boring, 65% possession and 2 shot. Yeah, that was always like the public kind of the casual fan. Yeah, like the casual fan didn't like it because it was considered boring because they were just going to hold possession, grind you down, have 3 shots on target and 2 goals. Like that was peak Spain. They didn't even have a striker. They had like freaking Fabregas playing up front. But it's a system that works so well, and they're almost kind of replicating it now. But what wasn't in my bingo card was the Spurs fullbacks being the 2 standout performers in the semifinals of the World Cup. Jet Spence and Pedro Porro.
Yeah.
And somehow they're still going to finish.
They're in a shitty environment.
Yeah.
Like, they're actually good players outside of Spurs. They need to get out ASAP. Right?
Come to Liverpool, bro.
Jet Spence and United, I am so down, bro. Jet Spence is their new left back.
Damn. That's a quick use.
I'm in.
Yeah, Anup, I actually wanted to ask you a question. Like, based on what you watched this game, do you think this was more France playing bad, or it was just Spain being that good? If that makes sense.
You know what? I feel it was the latter. It was. I think it was great coaching, great strategy, right? France were okay. To their standards, if you compare to what you've seen in France play in this World Cup, I think they played really really bad. But if you see overall, I think Spain showed their class, and on top of that, they were out coached too.
Wait. To kind of layer in that question, then, when you were watching it, did you feel like how we talked about Tuchel, and it's like, there were very obvious things he needed to do that could have changed the outcome of the game. Did it feel that obvious with France? Like when you were watching it, was it just like, are you guys dumb? Like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you putting him on? Or was it more just they were playing their game and Spain was neutralizing it?
To me, no, because what happened was after the game was done, I went on Twitter and things like that, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, why don't you put Manu? Why don't you put an extra midfielder on? Olise should have been on the right wing. You should have put Barcola off, put Manu Kone, Chouameni, and Rabiot to control the midfield." But France never had to do that the whole time. France
Yeah.
played to their strengths, and it worked until this moment. So I don't think it was bad coaching, because at the end of the day, if your team is that dominant in attack, if you have Michael Olise creating chances, if you have Mbappe doing his thing, if you have Dembele, if you have Barcola, you have that pace and directness, you have to stick with that game plan. But what happened was the Spanish midfield were just so damn good,
Yeah.
right? You couldn't get the ball off them. They were just bopping it around like it was their backyard. You couldn't get the ball off them.
That's true.
Right? And the thing is, obviously France, every time you get that chance, they can turn on and, go score a goal. But they never got the ball. They never got the ball. They couldn't get the ball off them. And obviously Manu Kone came on. Adrian Rabiot had a terrible game. He couldn't do anything compared to Rodri and Fabian Ruiz. He couldn't even keep up with them. I thought Chouameni was decent. But the only thing I would say looking back was maybe you replace Adrian Rabiot with Manu Kone. I think that would have helped a bit. But other than that, I don't think they could have done anything differently. Like, they were just completely neutralized by the Spanish midfield.
Wow.
And that's why, like, everyone looks at Spain, everyone looks at France and say, "Oh, they didn't play to their level. Oh, I don't know what happened to them." I watched that game and I was like, I saw flashes. I saw amazing balls Dembele played. I saw dribbles from Dembele. I saw Mbappe trying to beat his man. I saw Olise trying to drop deep and play passes in. I saw all of it. But you need more of those. You need a bigger sample size for them to go score a goal.
Right.
But Spain had the ball the whole time. So what is France supposed to do? They couldn't do anything. That's why this performance for me is more about how good Spain were
True.
than how bad France were.
True. Yeah, I agree. I agree overall.
Right? Like,
Did Manu Kone play at all?
I don't think he didn't start for sure.
he subbed on.
He subbed on. Yeah.
He subbed on.
Yeah.
But it was
Just
it was
out of
too little too late.
curiosity. Oh, okay.
No, he didn't start.
I was just curious how he played. Probably irrelevant at that point. But it looks like United's close to signing him, so interested to see where that goes. He's pretty solid.
That would be a good signing for you guys, because I think he's only like 50 million or something.
Yeah.
If you get he's kind of been like I'd say a standout player for me in the World Cup, at least for France, like the underrated one, not the Olise, not the Dembele and all that, but he's been pretty good when he's come on.
Because for France, that was the question mark, was their midfield coming into the World Cup. It's like, who is that two that plays behind the four? And they'd have a lot of work to do, obviously. And he's definitely been the one, I think, that's been the big winner. But I think that kind of answers that question, right? It's like, this didn't feel like an England performance where you go out kind of super disappointed, kind of looking at yourself and what you did. I think France just has to kind of hold their hands up and say, Spain was a better team today.
Yep.
Okay. Now that I know this, I'm going to go watch the highlights, and I think I'm going to get a better context of it, so this is good.
Like, to me, that's like the biggest takeaway again, going back to Rodri. This guy's an all-timer, bro. He's an absolute all-timer. Yeah. The amount of trophies he's won with Man City, as much as we hate Man City, and I hate how they build their team, 115 charges, all of that. But him as a player, he's a linchpin for that team.
Totally.
He led the Spanish national team to the Euros, and now they're in a final again. If he wins the World Cup as well with his Ballon d'Or, we're talking about one of the greatest midfielders of all time. Right? We're talking about someone at like the Sergio Busquets level. And I wouldn't be mad if somebody picked Rodri over Busquets at this point. Because they play the game very differently, in my opinion.
Yep.
Right? But I think the impact is kind of around the same. Because even last season with his injuries, I kind of wrote Rodri off. I was like, he's not going to come back. He shut me the hell up, bro. This guy has shut me up.
Yeah. He didn't have a great season with Manchester City because he was injured on and off, right? But he still he's got that the X factor. So he's not. He's clearly not in decline.
No.
I think if
No.
anyone questioned his player of the year 2 years ago, Ballon d'Or, I think he's showing everyone like, or don't forget who I am. I think he's
Yeah.
reminding people that he's still that guy, even if it
Yeah.
had an injury. I honestly, you know what? I hate a lot of Man City players, but I think Rodri's one of those few guys that I just always I loved watching him play. Always entertaining, always super clutch. So it's good to see him now do it at this level. Because I think coming into the World Cup, I was like, yo, who is Spain's like guy? And I know it's supposed to be Yamal, but I don't think your guy can be like an 18-year-old.
No.
But I think Rodri is showing like he's the man of this team, right? He's the leader. He's the one that's kind of leading by example as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How was Yamal, by the way? How did he play? Because he's been quiet this whole tournament, relatively, right? Compared to the Euros 2 years ago. I know we've talked about the injury a bunch, but did he play better this time around compared to some of the other games?
I think he had a better game for sure. He had a disallowed goal as well, which was
Which
a
was
fantastic
unreal.
goal that he took.
Yeah.
Right. But I think he was doing his job. He was not the Lamine Yamal, the best the coined best player in the world. He did not play like anywhere close to that. But he was doing his job. He was even tracking back and defending as well. He actually tackled Mbappe. You know.
Yeah.
So he did his job pretty well, and I think his passing was pretty spot on too. He didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't have that that X factor, if you will.
The thing is, right, like, I saw a lot of people on social media right after this game. They talk about, Lamine Yamal hasn't stepped up to the expectations. We expect him to be Spain's best player. Guys, he's a kid.
He's a kid. Come on.
He's an 18-year-old kid
Yeah.
who I thought had a pretty good game this time, right? And the fact that we put these expectations on him to be the best player because he's shown it before, of an 18-year-old kid who's just coming off an injury, just lay off him a bit. He's still doing his job. He's already in the finals, by the way, which is crazy because he could win the World Cup and the
Yeah.
Euros before turning 19 years old, which is insane, which is absolutely insane. And I think his record against Mbappe is like, I don't think he's lost
8
Mbappe.
out of 7 tackles. I think he has won like 7 tackles or something. I don't know, right?
No, I'm talking about like head to head.
Oh,
I think
head-to-head.
whenever Spain has been friends, I think he always comes up trumps against Mbappe. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So he's already that kind of player. So I think we need to kind of just lay off him. But I thought he had a good game this time. But the stuff I was seeing on social media, I thought it was just a bit over the top. I just have one last question to ask you guys about the French team. Deschamps is already gone, and obviously they made a finals. They won a World Cup. They made the finals. Now they lost in the semifinals. What do you think the new coach needs to do for them to take that next step again to win the World Cup? Because I don't think the same thing's going to work again. They need to do something to kind of freshen it up.
Man, the France team is so tough, right?
Yeah.
Because the talent is never, I think, going to be a problem. And truthfully, if you think back, even back to the 90s France teams, I don't think talent is ever a problem for them. It's just going to be, will the players buy in? I think that's what I've learned from watching this game today is talent is only so much of it. Even for someone as great as Messi, you need a system and players to buy in to make it work. And Deschamps, as good as he's been, it's been a bit of like a up and down roller coaster ride for him. So I think they need someone that's less of a tactician and more someone that's just going to get the team playing together. And do a bit of what Tuchel did too. Is like, don't just take the best talent. Try to find a couple of those pieces that make your top guys work. Find midfielders that are going to make Olise and Dembele shine, right? Maybe you don't play Dembele or Barcola. Doué or Barcola. You might have to go with a different profile as your 10 to make Dembele and Olise even more expansive. So I think someone needs to come in and make those type of like tough decisions, not to teach them how to play the sport, just try to fit those pieces together a little bit better and get them to buy into the system. I think that's all they need. Not all they need, but yeah.
That's all they need. Just make sure everyone buys it. You get it soft. Yeah, it is what it is.
Just the ever elusive secret sauce that every sports team in human history has been looking for.
Buy-in. Yeah. Anup, you have any thoughts on this?
No, not much, honestly. Like I'm still thinking about how can they, fix their midfield, but they still have Chouameni and they have, they have. I mean, I don't know, man. They
Chouameni
have a
should
strong
be here,
midfield.
man.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying Man
No, I was saying
United?
Chouameni should be at Man United, bro. I'll take Manu from him. Fuck him.
Dude, just be happy with your Andre Santos. Yuri Tielemans, great signing. We'll get into all of that. But guys, I think that
We'll
concludes
talk
our-
soon. We'll talk soon.
We'll talk soon. We got a bunch of Premier League. It's hotting up, man. We need to get into that. I can't wait. A lot of fun stuff's been happening. But guys, that's our episode talking about the semifinals of the World Cup, and the final obviously is going to be Spain versus Argentina. And we can't wait for this final. I think it's going to be unbelievable. I think it's going to be a team with resilience, with the greatest player in the world against a Spanish midfield. They're like matadors, just wee-hoo, woohoo, just guiding that midfield, making sure nobody touches them. I think it's going to be a fascinating matchup. And obviously, we're going to have a video coming out for that. But again, what are you guys doing? If you watch this video, you got to follow us. Make sure you support the boys. We're VAR From Perfect. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube Shorts. We get roasted in the comments. Roast away, guys. Thank you for all the comments you sent in, all the likes, all the suggestions. We appreciate all of it. We're just a bunch of guys who love football, who wants to grow our channel, and any suggestions, any comments, we appreciate the hell out of it. But again, we'll see you guys in the next episode, talking about the finals, which obviously is going to be amazing. We're gonna peace out, guys. Peace.
Why do they keep losing? They always keep losing.